Well, everybody, for all of our UK European watchers, everybody over here on the East Coast, including our special guests, good evening. Good early evening to my co-host, way out in the West Coast. I'm Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. This is Material Issues, episode number 212. Please help me welcome my co-host, the fabulous David Bash, president of the International Pop Overthrow Festival, and out there in sunny Southern California, where it's just pre-dinner time right now, and I'm sure Rena is probably cooking up something nice for you on Sunday night.
She normally would have been, but we actually have an event to go to after this. It's
nice.
It's a Chris Stamey record release show. Believe it or not, he's here.
Isn't that funny?
Without the record, I guess it's a streaming release show. Because I don't think he's going to have copies of the record with him. But it was, the show was planned a long time ago when the release date was supposed to be July 11th, and it just didn't happen. So, but the show is happening, and Evie Sands is going to open. Actually, I just thought about this. She's someone we should definitely have on Material.
That's going to be a good show.
Releasing Angel of the Morning, only to have it usurped by the Merrily Rush version. Yep. That's a really sad story, actually. Just some bad luck. Yeah. But she's done a hell of a lot though. Besides that, some real big Northern Soul records like not Billy Ocean. That's Billy Ocean. Well, he did a Northern Soul track. Love really hurts without you. Billy Sunshine.
Sunshine, you got it. That's right.
And several albums since the 60s as well, and she still plays, as evidenced by the show tonight. So, cool. We have to head over to that after this. So, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
For those who were here last week, we had a unfortunate problem with Chris Stamey live here. He got on live. We were talking. All of a sudden, that huge storm that came from Texas and did all the damage was rolling into his area of North Carolina. And while we were talking to him, a tree limb hit his house and everything went south. So he didn't stick around a long time, but he's coming back in late August.
We'll have him on, what's the date we have him on? August 24th, I believe.
24th, I believe,
Yeah, August 24th will continue, maybe even start over. Who knows? I mean, it was everything was a little bit tense during that time. He had having a tree fall on his house and the whole bit. But he was a trooper. I mean, we had a really dodgy connection, but we went as long as we could until it became clear that it just wasn't working. Yeah. But we'll get him back, and all will be hunky dory. Let's see what IPO news do I have. Nothing particularly new. Just IPOLA starts on August 1st, goes through August 10th at Redwood Bar, except for August 8th, where we'll be at another downtown club called Escondite. So we've never been there before. We're looking for it. It's really an interesting venue because it's in a, to be honest, it's in a fairly seedy area of downtown. There are a lot of homeless there. But when you walk out of the entrance, or I guess it becomes an exit when you walk out, but you can see it's the only place that isn't a skyscraper where you can see the whole LA downtown skyline. It's really amazing.
Oh, cool.
Just somehow they have a straight view to it. So that's gonna be cool. I really want to look at that at night, especially. But it all should be a lot of fun. And IPOs, New York, Boston, we're almost full for New York, actually. And Toronto and Boston are being booked right now. So everything's moving along. IPO CDs at manufacturing, we hope to have them a week before IPO starts. But I'll definitely have them by the start date. and we'll be giving them away to anyone who pays to get into an IPO show.
And that's what, three disc set this year? Or
3 disc set, yes, still is. 66 tracks, filled to the brim. I think each disc is about 79 minutes.
Wow.
I know. And it's a really, really good one this year.
I mean, that's the price of admission right there. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, for God's sakes, yes. You get that plus some amazing acts. So wow. You really can't beat it. So that's going on. Let's see. All right. Might as well do my watch.
As long as it's matching your shirt, man. That's all I care about.
It kind of is. The band certainly is.
The band does, yeah.
This is the Malm, the Swedish brand Malm Wolf. What is it called? Airwolf. So yeah, it's a pilot's watch. I saw it at the Stockholm airport as we were walking to our gate. There was a watch store. I went in and I thought, yeah, I like this one, and I want something from Sweden. From
Sweden, yeah.
And
cool.
Malm is a really good brand. So yeah, it definitely goes with a shirt.
I think most people are just impressed that somehow you keep batteries in all these watches.
well, most of them are not quartz. Most of them are automatic or wand. So you don't need a battery. Speaking of which, the one I showed last week, the Omega Flight Master, right. I actually had the place I bought it had another one that didn't work with the right hands. So now I have the yellow hands on here.
Oh, okay, you got it changed. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, the only problem is, but I think this will be an easy fix. It stopped a couple of times, but both times it stopped, it was at the 1 o'clock mark. And we're pretty sure it's because a couple of the hands are touching at that point. So all I have to do is bring it to the watchmaker, and they'll move the hands apart. But it hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped for a couple of days, so maybe it won't. Well, but anyway, it doesn't go with a shirt, so I'm not wearing it right
now. I love it.
But speaking of shirts, and I kind of like the one I'm wearing. The gentleman of this pair we're going to introduce always wears some really cool 60s inspired shirts, and he's got one on right now. But not a surprise given the sound of his band's music. They have been the premier psychedelic power poppers ever since 1994, when I found out about them. I think I read a review of them in Yellow Pills magazine, a review of this album, House of Vibes. The review looked amazing. The cover looked amazing. So I remember back then, of course, no email. So I think there was a number, and I called it and spoke with Mick, who's no longer a member of the band. But back, I said, I really want this. So he, he told me how to pay for it, and they sent it over, and I've been a huge fan ever since. This is a band who's had 2 albums finish #1 for me in their respective years. Very few other acts have ever been able to do that. They've had lots and lots of albums over the years, and people love them. And here's the brand new one on Gem Records called Soul Bender. And I have it both on CD and LP, but I haven't opened the LP yet. I just kind of look at this.
You haven't opened the LP yet to show the absolutely stunning, I don't even know what you call this color. It's like seafoam mint green.
Seafoam green, yeah.
Something like, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautiful beautiful piece of vinyl. I love it.
Well, I've been playing the CD, and I've actually uploaded 3 songs from it that we'll play. But today we have the main singer-songwriters of the band, and to me, on their respective instruments, they're really among the best I've ever seen play. I mean, I don't just mean at IPO. I mean anywhere. They're both absolutely amazing. Yes, it does take a lot of work to do what they do, because not only do they play, record, and write and record their own music, but they have their House of Vibes studio where they've produced a lot of records for other people as well. There's a Hershberger in the house. She was paid to say that, I'm sure. Anyway, without further silly ado, would you please give a huge welcome to Left to Right, Kristin Pinell Reil and Kurt Reil of the Gripweeds.
There they are.
Ah. And that's not even the instrument I was talking about, but Kurt can play just about anything. But in the Gripweeds, he's a drummer. Kurt, I remember there was one show the Gripweeds did at IPO at the Bag It In, and you went into a drum solo, and there had to be at least 2 or 3 drummers from other bands there, and I was watching them watch you, and they're like going, like, how is he doing that?
I did a drum solo?
The Bag It
Yeah.
In? You're going.
You actually did. I don't remember for what song, but you did a drum solo. It wasn't like a 4-minute thing, but it was long enough to have the other drummers, as well as I'm sure plenty of people in the audience, go like, how in the world is he doing that? And the drummers, of course, know how hard it is to do what you do. So I was very impressed by that.
Well,
but
appreciate that.
Anyway, that's just one of many memories I have of you two and the rest of the band. So how are you both doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
We're doing good. We just got on a motorcycle ride around Jersey. We're all
Which one of you owns a motorcycle?
Well, we share it.
Well, he drives and I sit on the back.
Oh, nice.
It's together on the bike.
Right.
It's a great. It's good to get out there with the air hitting you in this humid New Jersey, because I'm a little farther south Jersey than you are, but man, it has been nasty here for the last couple of weeks.
We go up into the mountains, so the air is a little bit cooler up there.
A little better today, a little nicer today.
Yeah, nice.
Which mountains?
The Watchung Mountains.
I don't know them, but I know Watchung, New Jersey. But
you don't know about the mountains of New Jersey?
It's central Jersey. It's just like an hour away from us.
No, even though I lived in Rockland County, which is not far from the Jersey border, for many years, I never really got much to central Jersey. So no, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a nice little mountain range that we enjoy.
Yeah, nice. Well, that's excellent. Well, hey, listen, we held this up earlier.
Yeah.
Let's just get right into some of this before we get into a little bit of history of you guys. But what a fabulous new album Soulbender is. I want to let everybody know that everybody.
Oh, wow. Kurt has one too.
Thank you.
Gripweeds.com, scrolling across the bottom. If anybody, as they're watching and listening, is interested, you can go there and get anything and everything Gripweeds concerned, including this new album. Now, with the new album, I got the bonus.
Yeah,
I was just about to pull that out. Yeah.
All right.
Got it.
We both got the bonus disc. Which
I'm not sure if that's still available, but if it is,
no, that's available. Absolutely.
You can only get it at the website, by the way.
That's why you got to go to gripweeds.com and get it there with the bonus disc, which is wonderful. So
I mean, we do as Marty Scott from Gem Records has asked us. He says, make sure that you tell people to support their local record stores. I think it's important for people to do that. But on the other hand, you can always come to gripweeds.com and get stuff from the artist directly. And there's all kinds of stuff that you will not find in a record store at our site. So if you want to buy the new album, by all means, go to the record store and do that. And then come back to us and get the deluxe bonus disc.
Exactly.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that you had the bonus disc by itself, because I already had the CD.
That's why we did it.
Yeah.
And we were on the Little Stevens Underground Garage cruise, and we were selling a lot of the new album. And as we were on the cruise, we're like, well, we've got to make this bonus disc, because we hadn't quite started it. Or actually, we did start it, we just didn't put it together. And we realized all these people, would not be able to get the bonus disc if they didn't want to, unless they wanted to buy the album again. And we didn't want to do that. So we thought we'd, make it easy.
Can you, we're going to get into the music, of course, in a little bit, but can you talk a little briefly on the album cover?
Sure.
I'll let you talk a little bit about it, but what's the inspiration for what we see going on here?
Well, at first, my initial idea for this record cover was a lot of white space.
We were trying to go really simple.
Yeah, we were going to go simple. Our pictures with a lot of white around us. And so what we did first was we started our photo shoot, and then one of us had the idea of Younger Than Yesterday by the Byrds. And if you hold up the deluxe edition, you can see that that's kind of our version of Younger Than Yesterday, almost exactly, actually.
Right.
And we thought, oh, I'll pose like this, and Kristin posed like that. And so we were doing that, and we looked at the pictures when we put the album together. We were trying to do this thing with the white space, and it didn't work. We just could not get anything.
We couldn't keep it simple.
Well, it was all looking like Younger Than Yesterday, which is great for the deluxe edition bonus disc, but not for the real cover. We wanted something a bit more our own. So then Kristin sort of had this idea of a collage album for the longest time, and we sort of went in that direction.
So all the images on the album cover relate to something in a song. So
either in the song or the band, something that the band is very close to. So I'll leave it to the listeners to find the clues on the cover.
But Kurt put the whole thing together, and it's just, and that vinyl, that's called Coke Bottle Green.
Coke Bottle Green.
Bottle Green.
Coke Bottle Clear.
Yeah.
Or Mountain Dew Bottle Green.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
But yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kurt, we're not even really sure this is you sitting here, because this is my take on the album cover because I'm old school. I like to sit and hold an album and stare at the graphics and try to
That's
figure
what we wanted.
That's exactly. But here's what's going on. If you look at it, obviously Kurt is to the far eastern side of the album. So he's playing Russian roulette. And that's a dangerous thing. And his brother Rick knows that. But while he was attempting to do that, he actually fired a shot which hit the bookshelf, and all the books were coming down to Kurt. And Rick is trying to stop that happening. Now, Dave knows there's no hope, so he's already planting death flowers, and this is the time of death happening in front of him. But Kristin, with all her love for Kurt, as you see in the hearts right there, she's reaching out for him. But in the end, the pigeon going to heaven signifies that Kurt is dead, and you are, in fact, in a
Man,
and that's exactly what you had in mind, right?
Well, I didn't have that in mind, but I'm so happy you came up with that. I would have never thought of it.
Yep. No, you're not.
The album cover, as we would hope. We really hoped it would be open for interpretation.
Yeah.
And that's as valid as any that I've heard.
So the Kurt is dead rumors are going to start.
Well,
oh my God, I couldn't.
And I mean, in the age of AI, I don't really know this is you anyway.
Yeah.
Nothing is real.
Yeah.
For Reil.
There you go. And nothing to get hung about either.
That's right.
No, but that's the way it is with all the songs. Everybody listens to them and they have their own interpretation of and they mean something different to everybody. But that's as long as they touch people.
Well, you were promising the real, but I don't know if we got the real.
Promise of the Reil.
Have you guys gotten to the point, like when you're on Facebook and somebody posts something unusual, do you think immediately that's AI, or do you take it in as is first, and then maybe somebody comments that's AI, and you go, oh yeah, I guess so.
You can't trust anything really anymore. You can't trust anything.
I'm getting good at spotting it now, though. You can see there's a certain gloss to the face. You're like, something's wrong here.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to get to AI a little bit.
I'm not surprised, as you were an engineer, an actual engineer, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Mechanical engineer.
He's got a degree from Rutgers University in New Jersey as a mechanical engineer. He's not just,
not just pretty face.
Not just a pretty face, no.
But with all this music stuff, that when you put art out into the world, and this is essentially art, it's open for people to digest it and interpret it and judge it. And, social media is a huge mouthpiece for people to do that, for people to say, I don't like this or I love that. And you got to develop a thick skin about it and realize that they're entitled to think whatever they want. And, we're putting out the energy, and we just hope it gets received as best it can. But it's going to happen its own way. And we are okay with that nowadays. Earlier on, we may have been like, oh, they don't like it. but now I think we're a bit more confident in what we're doing. And, if people don't like it, well, that's fine. They don't have to like it. We like it.
And the reaction to this record has been really positive, and people seem to really respond to it, which is great. It really is. It's really great for us.
Oh, here we go.
My daughter came up with a question. She's online from Florida watching this. She wants to know where your band name.
Oh, I know.
Oh, you want us to know?
But I'm not going to say it.
All right. Well, okay. When we first started out, I'll give you a roundabout answer. When we first started out, we were very into the Beatles, and we still are. But we wanted to be a Beatle band. Like the Monkees, like the Byrds, like all those groovy 60s British invasion groups. We thought we would be New Jersey's answer to that. And it was 4 swinging young guys with long hair and guitars. And we were looking for a hip name that would fit into that sort of realm. And our first thought was something like the Grassroots. That's what we wanted to have, something that was kind of akin to that name. And we thought, and one of us came up with, hey, the Gripweeds. And at first we didn't really like it, but then we realized, wow, that's really cool, because not only is it a play on the Grassroots, not only is it earthy, not only is it strong, but it's also John Lennon's character in How I Won the War. He played Musketeer Gripweed. So we thought anybody that's hip to the Beatles, like David Bash, would probably go, oh, I know where that name comes from, and be like, well, maybe their music sounds like that too.
Plus, people think there's a drug thing with it too.
There's that as well.
They always say that to me, but
that never occurred to me. But
there really isn't.
I don't do drugs. So.
There really isn't. There really isn't. But.
Yeah.
Grip the weed.
No, they do.
Oh, we've heard everything.
We're like, oh, you guys.
I mean, now hearing things. Let's hear a song from it. Well, let's get one going right away. And I try to play the first song on everybody's album, because usually there's a reason why a band makes a song first. In this case, it happens to be the title song from the album Soul Bender. And it certainly did bend my soul. So hopefully it'll do the same for you. So here we go on Material Issues, Soul Bender, the track by the Gripweeds.
And now, let's be playing.
Jump cut to a life I've led. Up front, there's no end. Feedback, your harmonic tone echoes through my bones. Highlight, locomotion, your mind,
It's starting to go out.
emotion vibrates in a pantomime. Ideas magnified. You're my soul bender. You're my soul bender. You're my soul bender. You're my soul bender. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Spin room, funhouse mirrors, sonic boom, burns my ears. Strobe light, dizzy vertigo. That's the way we roll. You're my soul bender. You're my soul bender. You're my soul bender. You're my soul bender. I come alive when I feel your heavy face. Reach your mind before I heard you play. Rise,
I like that little
and to be good now. I've got a brand new start.
A veritable stomper to open up the album.
Wow.
And the title track as well, Soul Bender by the Gripweeds. In the spirit of Sgt. Pepper, you started the album with the title track. Was that in your mind at all, or how did it work out that was the first track?
No, it wasn't in our mind until we went to sequence the record. And in fact, we didn't even have the title Soul Bender for the album until way into the process.
Yeah, we had other titles.
But I had the
Not to
song.
be repeated here.
I went out on a bike ride and I dreamed up the song, and I came in to put it down on a demo, like on my phone, and so I sung into it real fast, and then I went to grab the guitar and I looked down at the guitar on the floor, and I had this fuzz pedal called a Soul Bender.
Oh.
I just looked down, so I started just going in my nonsense lyrics that I was putting in, so I would remember the song at all. I just said, "Oh, you're my soul bender," and then I told Kristin about it. And so I said, "We'll change that later," and she said,
"Oh no, it was great. I knew it was going to be the title track. I've been dying to work on this song for a while. It had a lot of power. We knew it was cool.
So
we knew it would be the first song of the album, just the way it started. It seemed right, and when we sequenced the album, it was the obvious choice for that.
Yeah, no, it's a stomper. It's lush. The harmonies are fantastic. Who's the mastermind behind the harmonies that when you're recording? I know your production skills, Kurt, have been utilized by a lot of people, from the Anderson Council to the Sins to the Smithereens. You're a master at what you do with the controls, but creating these harmonies in the background, is that a group effort, or is there somebody who's got the harmony ear in the band?
Kurt's the taskmaster. He's the Brian Wilson.
I kind of dream up these harmonies, and luckily everybody has the voices to sing them.
They're not easy to do, though. We spent a lot of time working on it.
And we actually, for this album, we realized we kind of came up with a different vocal blend than we had previously had. We realized Kristin can sing really high, and so we put her up in the high register, and all of a sudden we're like, wow, that really kind of works up there, and me in the middle singing the lead and Rick down on the bottom, and it just really works.
It works naturally for us, because like we could do Soul Bender live, and we could do all the harmonies too, which is kind of cool.
But she chipped in on if you listen to the song and you hear "You're my soul bender, you're my soul bender," yeah, and then you hear
yeah, that
was her idea.
That was
okay.
Last train to Clarksville vibe I was adding to the song.
So we have a very open process in the studio of, if you have an idea, bring it in, let's hear it, and if it's great, of course we're going to use it. And that's one of those ideas that, of course, we're like, wow, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, everybody's a multi-instrumentalist. So, people are trying different guitars and different vocal ideas, and just, if you have an idea, bring it in,
I mean,
I remember one time when you guys came out to LA to do IPO, I did an interview with you, with the whole band. And I remember you saying, this is a democratic band, and if everyone doesn't vote for something, we don't do it.
Well,
is that still the way it is?
I don't know if it's quite that democratic, but because I think everybody is like, we're okay. We're on the same page, and we're okay with one of the other members doing a song they really want to do.
Yeah, you have to we trust each other, and different people take the lead on different things and kind of direct stuff. It just, everybody has an opportunity to get their ideas in.
But I think we pretty much find out without having to verbalize it. If a song's not going over well, or if somebody's not really too into it, that can come across, and you may just go, well, maybe we'll lose that song because it's not jiving with the band.
There was a song on the record called Love Comes in Different Ways. It's a really great song that Rick wrote. He wrote it many years ago, and he brought it into the band, but we didn't know what to do with it. And if you listen to it, it's the track that closes Soul Bender. Yep. It's a real beautiful production. We never could have done that when he first brought it in, like 10 years ago. We just never could have done it. We didn't have the experience. We would have probably wrecked it,
Well, he brought it in when we had songs. Had one song that was a lot like it, so we didn't want to use it on.
Right.
It came in around Strange Change Machine, and we didn't want to use it for that because we had Todd Rundgren. What song was that?
Hello, it's
Hello,
me.
It's Me. And so we didn't use it for that. And then the next album we did, I think, was How I Won the War, which was a concept record. Didn't fit that. So I said, Rick, can't do it for that. Sorry. And then Trip Around the Sun. Too many songs, Rick. Sorry.
Oh,
and
wow.
the album came up. We're good.
Thank you, Ringo. We'll call you.
Yeah, we're going to do it for this album. So we kind of, I think we all have a bit more of an open mind now as far as, you know, how to approach a song and turn it into what it needs to be. Not what you want it to be, but what does the song want? And it takes a little bit of maturity to do that, to have that mindset of, you know, not to be like, I want this song. No. What about the song? That's what really needs to be.
It doesn't make the cut. Everything doesn't make the cut.
Yeah.
You know?
So, but it just so turned out that we all got our arms around that one. So that's, you know, that's an example of a song that if you would have talked to me 10 years ago, I would have gone, well, maybe we're not going to do that one. But I really love it.
You've always been, you know, outstanding harmony band, but I think this album, as you've grown with every album, has really taken. I'm a harmony guy. Has really taken the harmonies to another level, and I made a couple of notes, particularly on a song like "Someone in Love." I just think that the harmonies on that song are just gorgeous, and you listen to some of the little things going on, just really something. Really,
when we started working with Mark Lindsay, from the lead singer from Paul Revere and the Raiders, he taught us how to sing. He taught us how to sing. We'd always sung, but we didn't really have any technique, and we took lessons. We learned how to do it. We were just kind of doing it intuitively and not really understanding it, and we learned how to really improved.
Mark was a little bit of a musical education for us, and you know, Mark Lindsay from Paul Revere and the Raiders, we backed him up, and I did a lot of work with Mark, and he shared with me everything, his vocal exercises. He shared, you know, everything. But
he had his exercises and his tapes, and we're like, oh wow, listen to these. This is how you do it, and you the exercises that you practice, and you learn to, you know, sing in higher registers and float between, you know, all that stuff. We really didn't know. We never took choir. We just never knew. We were just out there playing in a rock band, you know.
Mark Lindsay was amazing in the studio. I mean, I used to read stories about, you know, the Revolution album. And
there you go. Great record.
He was talking about how he would make painstaking efforts to mix it in mono versus stereo, making things just, you know, noticeably different.
Oh, yeah, between the two. Well, I talked to him about that. He would go. They would do the mono mix first, or like put out the single first, and then he'd go, well, you know, I hear another idea. Let's do that for the stereo. So he would make these different versions of the songs. We didn't go that far with him, or as far as he did like that. But we did, you know, I mean, if you think of Mark being in the 60s in a very pressure cooker hit parade atmosphere.
Yeah.
You got to get a hit. You're on Columbia Records. You're amongst the best musicians in the world. You got to measure up. You're 25, you know. And so I think that makes you a better musician just right there when it's those conditions. So we, you know, sort of feeling that glow from Mark, and I especially working with him in the studio, he absolutely raised our game.
And also,
did you contact Mark and ask him to work with you, or
no?
Did that go through Little Steven, or how did that happen?
Found him through a mutual friend, Mike Fornatel, who was working with.
No, he called me first. They were assembling a band for him way back in 2001, around time of 9/11, and I was his drummer, and I was only his drummer because Clem Burke couldn't fly because of 9/11, and Dennis Dykin was busy doing other things. So I was third on the list. How did I get to be third? I don't know of those guys, but I got there, and I hit it off with Mark. absolutely just like we were buddies from the get-go. And it wasn't for many, like 10 years later, that I actually started working with him again, and then in the studio. And we wound up asking him to sing on
Our Christmas
Santa
record.
Make Me Good on the Under the Influence of Christmas. We asked him to sing, and we actually wrote a song and
With him in mind.
with him in mind.
Yeah.
And he
And
accepted it.
he embraced it.
But when he came in to
Yeah.
do it, it was like, hey, I like this studio. I got some songs. And so he came in, and then we started really like, he basically was sort of giving me a crash course in Columbia Records, 1967, how they made those.
Wow.
You know, and I'm
Yeah, I
sure-
mean, they were. We could talk about this forever, Kurt and Kristen.
yeah. But
Yeah, he was vastly. No, I wasn't doing that to segue away. The Raiders were vastly underrated. Partially, I think, because they were
Underrated.
Because of their outfits.
they were underrated because they had the show. They were on, they were on Tiger Beat and 16 all the time, and for that reason, as well as others, they're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But to me, they pretty well should be, given that what they've done.
I think they absolutely should be, because they were such a groundbreaking sort of punk band in a way, but the uniforms kept them out, and that's what Mark said. He thinks.
No, I think he's right.
And they just, something happened, and you guys would probably know this, or you would, David, probably more than me. Probably in the late 60s, their hip quotient went way down, like the Beach Boys, and those Led Zeppelins and all those kind of hard rock groups kind of took the center stage, and they're like, oh, the Raiders, you like those guys, So I think they suffered from that.
They did, and I remember you were the only person. I mean, we spoke on the phone once, and you said, "You know what? The album Collage is really underrated." And
Sure.
I said, "I have it, but I haven't heard it for years." And you convinced me to go back and check it out. You were right.
Yeah, Mark is just an amazing, example of what you can do, and
we
he
learned
really-
a lot from him.
he really inspired us in the studio, especially, but also live.
But it's like these harmonies that, to bring back to the Gripweed harmonies, they're really hard. We have to practice them a lot. We're focusing on our guitar parts and our Kurt's singing and drumming, and 3-part harmonies live. They're pretty hard.
But I like that you brought up Someone in Love, because that song to me is very important. That was actually the first song I wrote. The first song I wrote was called Your Love. And I wrote it. We could never do it right. It was one of the first things we ever tried to do as a band, way back in the dawn of history for us. And I was like 21. And we could never play it. We could never get it right because we weren't seasoned enough for whatever reason. And I always kind of thought, this would be nice to do something with it. And it wasn't until the pandemic, where we had some time, that I could sort of go, what do I want this song to be? And I sort of took a more mature or more complex look at the song. If you listen to what's on the bonus disc, you'll hear the demo of this track, and you can see how far it came.
It has a lot of Holly's influence.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
but I couldn't have written those lyrics when I was 21 that I wrote for Someone in Love.
Sure.
Because I just have a lot more knowledge and depth, and I wanted to bring that to the song. And so we looked at it not as a Holly's track, which Rick kept trying to lapse into. He's like, oh yeah, I did this great 12-string solo. I'm like, well, no, save that for the next track, because I have something else.
So I did a mandolin
in mind.
solo.
So we did a mandolin solo instead. And I just wanted the song to grow up, kind of.
Yeah.
And so the harmonies were also part of that. And that's just what came out of it. And I'm real proud of the way the song ends with the Someone in Love. And, you hear the harmonies really come
Big
in
time,
at the end. And Kristin is on the high part at the end.
Beautiful song. Probably my favorite track on the album.
I wish I had that one queued up, but I do have what I think, if every time you do an album, I say to myself, I know invariably there's going to be a quintessential Gripweeds track on here, something that if if somebody came up to me and said, "I hear you talking about the Gripweeds, but I really want to know what their essence is." And on this on Soulbender, I think it's this particular track that I'm going to play right now. The third track on the album, "Spinning the Wheel," to me is so quintessential Gripweeds. And if anyone here listening or watching has never heard, well, you would have, because I just played Soulbender, but check this song out. This is wonderful. From Soulbender, track number 3, "Spinning the Wheel" by the Gripweeds on Material Issues. Quintessential power pop by the Gripweeds on their new album Soulbender, track called "Spinning the Wheel."
You guys don't let us listen to it, so we decided we would play it for ourselves. We don't get to hear the track.
We could hear it. Have you ever minded being called power pop? I figured, you have such a strong psychedelic 60s influence. Has that appellation ever bothered you?
No, because I just think when we started the band, actually really when we did House of Vibes, our first album, we kind of set out a musical course with that record. It almost is a mission statement. And in that mission statement is power pop, it's garage, it's acoustic music, folk, psychedelia, all kinds of different things. And I think all of those things are in our universe, but yet hopefully we sound like our own thing. So if anybody wants to call us power pop, well, that's flattering to me. And I don't mind it because I listen to a lot of power pop.
Well, I'm thankful that that came through because Jordan Oakes, you know, of Yellow Pills, reviewed your
Yeah.
album, and that was supposed to be a magazine devoted to power pop. So he heard it, and because he heard it, I heard it, and the rest is history.
Wow.
Kristin, I wanted to relate something to you, and then ask you a question in as kind of a continuance of that. But when you guys came out, the first year you came out to LA to play IPO, Kristin, you played on the same bill as the Gripweeds were the Mockers. And the Mockers had come out, they had played first, and you were playing guitar with them. And, you know, I gave you guys a great introduction and a great send-off. And a few minutes later, a guy walks up to me and he said, yeah, they were a pretty good band, but I don't know about that chick guitarist. Obviously, he had the usual bias that a lot of guys have against females playing guitar and rocking. How dare they? But I said to her, well, wait till you hear her in the Gripweeds when she really rocks out. I want to know what you think then. So, you know, after your set was over, he came up to me and he said, man, you were right. She's amazing.
Was I that bad as the Mockers?
No, I didn't think so, but you weren't like rocking out. Their songs were a little more laid back, so you were kind of playing in kind. And then, of course, the Gripweeds came on, and it was a totally different thing. But I've always said that you're one of the best guitarists I've ever seen, and that's, you know, regardless of gender, of course. But
Thank you.
who were your inspirations as a guitar player, and did you play guitar in some part to say, I'm going to show the guys that I'm as good as they are?
I never played with that intention. I don't know. I just feel lucky that I had that passion since I was a little kid to want to play, and I kept working at it. And my influences were like, I was listening to Led Zeppelin and the Beatles and things like that. You know, Jimmy Page was one of my first guitar heroes.
But you listen to the Runaways too.
Sure. I was, you know, they were a girl band. I was like, how cool is that? You know?
Bangles.
All the girls. I listened to the girls too. But, you know, I never had any female role models as guitar players. I really didn't. So, but, you know, we still get that. We come on stage and people are totally surprised when we play. They're kind of like expecting something else and then they hear us. So.
You mean because of you, they expect?
Yeah,
something?
they're just like, they're thinking it's going to be a little mellower or whatever.
It's funny because when we started the band, I told you before that it was very much like we wanted to be the next Beatles, or at least the next Monkees, and at least that was in our minds, you know, 4 guys. And when our first guitar player split and Kristin joined, or wanted to join, we wanted her to join, it was kind of like, well, we're going to get rid of that sort of notion because it's kind of passe anyway. But once we got rid of that notion, we were able to become our own thing. It was sort of like we cleared the decks of this old idea that we were going to be like these other bands, and we became the Gripweeds as we are, and we really have grown as the Gripweeds since that album. I think more artistically our own way.
Yeah.
Although Salad Days is still going to be one of my all-time favorites.
I love that song. That's got a special place in my heart, and I think that song in
That
particular.
was one of the first songs that they brought me in to play on was Salad Days.
Yeah,
you know, because they wanted a harder edge.
But it still works. Like we can play that song at the drop of a hat, and it's still us, you know, and it still feels good to play it. So I love that track.
Oh, good. Now, of course, you get this question a lot, but our listeners may not know the answer to it yet. How did you two meet? And were you friends first, or was it love at first sight?
Sure. Good.
We met a Smithereen show.
This is a rock
there
and
you
roll
go.
thing here.
Yeah.
Everything's rock and roll. Or pop, power pop.
In New York City, we met at a Smithereen show. And it was actually through
Michael from the Rooks.
Oh.
That I was I working with him then? I was working with him then, and he said,
and we almost worked with him.
He said, I know this really good band. They're going to help me with my record. And I'm like, well, who are they? And they're like, oh, the Gripweeds. I said, well, I could help you instead. And that's how the Rooks kind of got together.
And that's how the Gripweeds got out of the Michael Mazzarella project.
But Kurt and I were sitting at the same table at a Smithereen show. watching Kenny's Castaways in New York City. And
But here's a funny one for you. We the Gripweeds actually played Dennis Dykin from the Smithereens. We played his wedding.
Oh,
We were a walk-on, like we weren't doing all the songs. He had some very old wedding band, like a trad jazz band. It was kind of cool.
walk on like Top of the Pops. Never mind.
Yeah, well, we come on. Yeah, walk on. We come on, and we had all our equipment set up. We come on, and we played Dennis's wedding. And at the wedding, Kristin was also at the wedding, and she was a knockout. And I was afraid to talk to her.
He didn't talk to me.
And I thought, my first thought was, she is way out of my league. So that was my first thought, and here we are all these years later. But the funny thing is, we play our set, and the Smithereens were going to use our back line at Dennis Dykin's wedding. So we leave the stage. Here you go, guys, take it away. And I remember Pat Denizio goes up to Rick's amp, takes his hand and goes across, whoop, and dimes every dial to 11. And they went on from there.
It's awesome. That's an awesome story. I mean, I've seen you guys a number of times live throughout New Jersey, from sometimes with the Record Collector or
Fun show.
Like that. And I'm always amazed because Kristin's so good at guitar, she makes it look effortless, which is like someone who's really good. When they make it look effortless,
It's not.
I know, well, I understand that, but you make it look effortless. And on the other side of the coin, you've got such a great drummer in Kurt, but he's also singing lead on so much, and the things that you do on the set and sing at the same time always boggles my mind, because I used to play bass in a band a million years ago, and trying to sing with running bass lines sometimes confused the hell out.
Well, he's an athlete. I mean, Kurt
Not
works.
really.
No, he is. I mean, you have to be to do what you do. And he works out every day.
I just ran 4 miles.
He's a runner, a cyclist. It's like really you have to be in top shape to do that, to sing and play drums like that.
It takes a lot of air. I realized that when I was in my early 20s, and I was singing the song "I Can Hear the Grass Grow," and right at the end, it's a double chorus. I can hear the grass grow. I see rainbows in you. Right. Yeah. And I remember I was in my early 20s, and I was like I was out of breath on the second chorus, playing and singing.
Right.
And I thought right there, this is going to be tough. And I've never been out of breath since, because I started running right about then.
Wow. Okay. Well,
but I just added to our set. I started adding they won't let me out front anymore. So I do a couple of songs on acoustic guitar, and I sit at the drums. So I'm playing drums, acoustic, and I'm singing now.
Yeah, and that blows me.
Pretty much can go out without the rest of the band then. You might.
Yeah, I'm
waiting for him to learn lead guitar so he could play. So I don't have to.
Were drums was drums your first instrument, Kurt?
No, piano.
Him and Rick fight it out to see who'd be drums and guitar.
Yeah, with the way it was in the Reil household way back when was Rick was a drummer and I was a drummer, but I was only a drummer because Rick had the drum set, and the drum set was so fun for me. I was 8 years old, and I would just go down and play his drums when he wasn't looking. And I always said, like, instead of going out and playing football, I'd play drums, and it was so fun. And eventually I was 13, and I realized I had taught myself how to play. And I mean, I wasn't very good if I think back to it, and I had a lot to learn. And then later I had a lot to unlearn because I didn't take lessons. Right. But that's a whole other story. So I was playing guitar and I was playing piano at first. And Rick was playing drums, and he also played guitar too. And we realized that we wanted to play together in a band, and we didn't want to give away the musical sort of control of the group to another guitar player. We wanted to play the guitars so that we would have control of the music. So we kind of shot it out between us, who's going to play. And Rick actually was a better guitar player than me at that time. So, and I was very, very enthusiastic about the drums. So I figured, well, we'll just sort of spell each other. He'll play drums, or I'll play drums. He'll play guitar for a while, and then we'll switch it up.
Yeah.
And that never happened. And after a while, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. So I just, eventually I just started playing guitar and for real. And I play on the records, and now I play live, but I play from the drums.
You know what? I kind of think you were talking about not having lessons, being self-taught. I've always felt like, in many cases, the best players are the ones who teach themselves because they don't follow a particular structure. Usually when lessons are given, it's all kind of by the book. But when you teach yourself nuance, you teach yourself to be innovative. And you end up standing out if you're really good. Yeah.
Well, I've had a lot of schooling that I tried to forget. I've been to music college and I went to the Harvard Conservatory, and all that stuff was good. It helped my ear and it exposed me to a lot of different kinds of music. But when you're in a rock band, you're going in another direction. You're using those things you learn, but I'm not thinking about them all the time. I kind of might understand how a song works or a solo works, but it's more like I'm creating something that I like what I hear. Yeah. I'm not thinking about how, it should be constructed because it's correct because of a scale or something. But I know what it all is. I read music, I do all that stuff, but it kind of like I went to Berklee College Music and it kind of messed me up for a while.
Yeah,
it really did.
I'll bet.
Because they were making me play jazz and I didn't even know what jazz was. I didn't even know what it was. And they were making me do it. And I knew all these chords and all these weird things. I'm like, oh my God. And then I got out of there and I was like, oh, I don't even want to play anymore.
Yeah, I took piano lessons and guitar lessons early on. And I didn't like them, and I wound up leaving them for musical reasons also. But what I'm really referring to is, like, for instance, something as simple as holding the drumsticks. And if you don't get a good grip on it,
so
to speak, it will mess you up for a while. And I actually had to relearn how to properly hold the sticks. And it was one of the best things I ever did.
And yeah, I give him some guitar,
Yeah, she gives me pointers all the time.
Because I'm like, well, how are you holding your hand? What are you doing?
I learned from the best. I mean, Jim Babjack, working with him from the Smithereens, he taught me so much about guitar. We were in the band Buzz Meg together.
Yeah.
And I was out front on guitar, so I kind of had to learn how to actually play, and he taught me a lot of good things about that. So I had him to thank for that. And then Pat Denizio on vocals showed me some things.
We're always learning from people. I mean, we took some vocal lessons. I mean, it was a good thing we did. We learned some techniques.
Well, from Mark, it was really how to connect with your high voice is what did it. And as you get older, you have less and less of a connection with your high voice unless you know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to have a horrible time.
There's always something you can learn from somebody else, and I think everybody should have some lessons just to make sure they get started, holding their instrument correctly and just, approaching it correctly. You get some bad habits.
But there's
a reason you won't be able to continue.
The one thing I can say is that, there's now a lot of musicians, because of the technology, are able to work in their own bedrooms and make albums and do it all in the privacy of their own home with no one from the outside to come in. And that, while that's okay, there's some bad things about that. Or what you don't get is the flow of ideas between musicians. Like here in the studio, we have a lot of people coming in, a lot of different ideas are shared and exchanged. People like Mark Lindsay, people like the Smithereens, bands like the Anderson Council come in and you kind of go, wow, I didn't think of that before, and
we all hear things they're doing, and
so if you're looking out, if you're good to watch and learn, like a lot of musicians do. The Beatles learned that way. They saw guitar players doing shapes of their chords and they kind of go, oh, what's that? And they had to figure it out that way. And that's kind of a great way to pick things up if you don't have a teacher.
There's so many online ways to learn now. I never had that.
But it's a free-flowing exchange of ideas that I have with Kristin, and that we have together, and I turned them on to what Mark was showing me with vocals, and everybody got their game raised up.
That's really what happens. There's a chemistry because there's four of us that are just throwing ideas back and forth with each other. It really does. It's really evident in this record too.
Yeah, I think that this is probably, you know,
It's a real band record.
We've crystallized or internalized a lot of lessons that we've learned over the years of how to do certain things, how to be more effective singing, how to be better at production that we learned from Smithereens, we learned from Mark Lindsay and stuff, and all that exposure we had. Plus Marty Scott, no small thing. Marty Scott from Gem Records, you know, that guy's a veteran. He started Gem Records in 1971. And the music that he's seen, he was handed, Phil Collins handed him his first album as a demo and said,
Wow.
well, Marty, what do you think? You know, so Marty's heard it all.
And he comes in, he listens to what he listens to all the bands, but you know, he listens to what we're doing, and he always has comments on things.
And if you open up your mind and you listen to what people say, you know, you might find that perspective is right on the money. And
Absolutely.
And maybe you should listen or at least try
the idea.
Try it.
We might not always agree, but we always kind of try different things, you know, just to see.
Sure. Well, you were talking, Kristin, you were talking earlier, or Kurt was talking about what you
We
learned
were all
vocally.
talking.
You were all talking about what you learned vocally from Mark Lindsay and other people. Well, it's definitely paid dividends on this album. And I wanted to play a track, the final track that I'll play from the album, which is one that you wrote and sing lead on, Kristin. And it's as usual, just really gorgeous. And a song called "If You Were Here." And everyone, get ready for this. It's going to take your breath away.
I only wanted to be sure.
There. Hey, we've got somebody here who wants to say hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Dana?
Hi. I actually have a question for you, Kristin. How hard is it to sing lead and play lead guitar at the same time?
Oh my God. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. It's so
Yeah, it's
hard.
just something that I know a lot of lead guitarists don't sing lead, and you do, which is pretty amazing.
It's really hard. I have to work really hard at it. Yeah, it's a lot because you have to get one thing right, then you have to get another thing right, then you have to put them together, and then you have to put them in front of a freight train.
And then
Grip
just don't
leads.
think about it. You have to stop thinking.
You have to just learn it so well.
Muscle memory.
Get it? Yeah.
You got to stop thinking because
And
when
even
you
your
think, it'll
voice,
go
your
off.
voice becomes like muscle memory. We discovered in-ear monitors a few years ago, and I could just say they saved our lives. I can hear myself because I don't have a really loud voice. I have a very delicate voice.
Yeah.
So, but we found
Yeah.
a place for it on this record. I'm really happy that the guys wanted to do my song.
You've always had a strong folk rock influence in your particular song. I could definitely hear the Bangles doing that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of like Kirsty McCall. The kind of
I was
like,
thinking the Pretenders.
yeah. Well,
Mhm.
Kirsty
Okay, I get that.
He was trying to, a little edgy, but I just love all that melody.
Yeah,
I
sounds
got
good.
to do my great impression, too. I sing the high harmonies in that.
Wow,
I do.
I did not. Yeah, I did not know that. Okay.
Cool.
Here's a question for you guys. It's been what, 30? I'm trying to do the math. 31 years since House of Vibes.
Yeah. Isn't that
Right?
insane? That's insane.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, just all of a sudden. When you released House of Vibes all those years ago, you probably had an idea of what you hoped success would mean with that first, that House of Vibes. 31 years later, and as much as you know, the music business has changed. Everything has changed. What defines success for you now with a fantastic new release like Soul Bender, but the changes in everything? Like what means success to you with this album?
Well, first off, I can say that the finishing the record and making a record like this is its own reward for us. It's in the doing, and I don't
Incredible
feel
amount of work.
I don't feel
Incredible amount.
like I'm looking for anything. Like I got the reward because we all love to do this. So
And
I
we
mean-
finished it.
say that right up front. But if you go
Finish it.
back 31 years to when we put out House of Vibes, where the music industry was then, we were like, okay, we're going to go get a deal. We're going to get signed. We're going to be famous, blah, blah, blah. None of that, of course, happened. We did get a deal with Rainbow Chords. But the music business has, in that time, has completely, well, you could say it imploded, really. It just kind of fell apart and
To say the least.
become something else. And, for better or worse, it's become something else. And, to be able to survive and function in this new climate or new atmosphere, environment, whatever you want to call it, is what you have to do.
We had to do a lot ourselves, and we had to learn how to do it.
Well, that started when we
in
started.
the studio,
Yeah.
we weren't happy with other studios we were working in, so we just learned to do it ourselves.
But-
It's like,
I think if we would have had that sort of deal, and we would have been one of those 90s bands that the record label, tossed off, and we would have been done, for a couple years, 4 years later. But this is better because we've kind of done this little stair step of evolution for us, where to get to this point, we needed the other albums to get there. And even this new album, Soul Bender, we were sort of referencing what we did on Dig, which was our covers record. There were some songs on there that the simplicity of those songs. One, for example, is Lie, Beg, Borrow, and Steal by Mouse and the Traps.
Yeah.
A song that we, kind of wanted to do something like, if we could. And those songs are very hard to write, but somehow or another I was able to write one with Conquer and Divide, and sort of reference, the sort of direction and production that we had taken on the Dig album fed into this record, using our own songs
really
this time.
streamlining our parts and making every note count.
So,
Yeah.
long answer for you, but
Yeah.
really it's we do this because we want to and because we have to.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you guys didn't get that deal.
Yeah, me too.
What I mean by that is Kurt, especially Kurt, is such a perfectionist, and I don't mean I certainly don't mean I certainly don't mean this in a negative light, and such a control freak that if you had gotten the deal, the label would have forced certain people on you in the studio, and it would have sucked for you.
But it sucked. Absolutely, it's better.
You got to do your own thing all the way through. And
who needs fame and fortune?
Just do it. We're just doing our thing. We're really happy that everybody's really into Soulbender. That's for sure.
I think we've gotten to a certain level of notoriety just by osmosis by now. Because we
haven't gone away.
We haven't gone away, and we keep putting out stuff and
tenacious.
And maybe we're getting better at what we do. So people are.
We're very persistent. We're very persistent. We just won't leave. So
this is just such a fantastic album, top to bottom. I mean, you can tell there's a lot of work involved. I love all the layering. I love the harmonies. Really, really good. And I just want everybody to know it is on Gem. And as you mentioned earlier, Kurt, if they can buy it from their local record store and support you and the record store, it's wonderful. But if you want to get some special, something like the bonus disc and things.
Well, can I say something quick about the bonus deluxe edition? We knocked ourselves out
it's got a 35-page booklet.
34.
Yep.
34-page booklet.
We did this booklet that's just an insane. We talk about every song on it. We had a piece written by someone to preface the album and put it into context. It includes the lyrics. It includes on
all
each
the
song
guitars,
who
all the
played
amps.
what guitar,
Ridiculous.
what amp. It's exhaustive, but hopefully it's not exhausting.
Wait, was there supposed to be a booklet included? Because I don't
download.
You got to go to get the QR code.
It's a download only booklet.
Oh,
Don't show that to. Well, show it. I don't care. Let people read it.
QR code. Yeah.
And then you'll have to get the music because you can't get it on Spotify. But that bonus disc is 24 songs and it's 78 minutes of music. It's got demos.
Live in the studio. Acoustic stuff.
We were prepping for our shows before the album, and we thought, let's record them and we'll include them on the deluxe edition. And it was one of the best things we ever did to record our rehearsals because it really helped us really get those songs tight live because we made them up in the studio first and then we had to learn them. So this bonus disc is kind of special. It includes instrumental mixes of these songs, some of them anyway. So you can really hear.
Because there's so many layers of stuff. You can really hear.
You can strip away the vocal and you'll hear what's underneath.
I love that stuff. Those XTC albums that they did. The reissues they did on Blu-ray with the instrumental of the whole album. That was amazing. So I'm glad you did some of that.
We like to do that, and it's all about giving value to fans, and something that we can that we have at our website on our store that can't be found anywhere else, and it comes direct from the band.
Yep.
So it's a labor of love, really.
And I know
I love you guys very much, and always have.
We love you too, David.
Thank you, David.
I wish I could stay longer, but I have to go. If Mark wants to continue talking with you guys, that'll be fine. But I need to head out. But guys, thank you so much for appearing.
I got an early morning. Kurt will be up all night.
I got nothing to do, Mark.
I got an early morning, but he doesn't. So.
Well, I'll say goodbye, and you guys can, knock yourselves out. So,
David, great to see you as usual, and what a shirt, man! What a shirt.
Hey, I try, but I have to keep up with you. So
I know we got something going on here.
That's
he had to build the addition onto his house just for a shirt closet. Now you thought all the CDs.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'd like to get my watch collection as large as yours.
I know your watches are. I never knew about that.
Well, it's a thing in the past 5 years. So
yeah.
Yeah, don't even get him started on his Mont Blanc
right.
pen connection too.
You don't
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I'll show it before I go. This is my Jimi Hendrix Mont Blanc. You notice that the clip is curved a little bit, like the accoutrement on a guitar. So,
my God, wow,
yeah.
you're going deep.
I love Mont Blancs, especially the little white.
You're
symbol
going
in
deep.
them. Yeah, very deep. Anyway, all right. Well, good night, everyone. We'll I'll see you soon. I hope. Bye bye.
See you later, David. Have a great night. Enjoy the show.
Thanks.
See you guys. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us here on Material Issues. Once again, this fabulous album, Soul Bender. I'm just going to pop the graphic back up for everybody to see. I really do believe that this isn't actually Kurt. Kurt is dead based on the clues from the album.
Yeah,
We loved your interpretation.
I'm an imposter.
Yeah, it's good, but I
like
wish
to see
the
that
best.
guy try to play the drums though. The imposter.
That's where it's going to fall apart. That's where it's going to fall apart. Are you on, I know you said you got off the Little Stevens cruise, which had to be a ton of fun. Are you playing locally? I'm looking at your website. Is there tour information here or show information?
Right now, we haven't announced anything, but we have a bunch of shows in the works.
In September, October will be
New England
England.
and New York. We're going to do some
New York.
stuff. So we're coming back after the summer.
Yeah, we just did a ton of work, so we're kind of picking up the pieces of the rest of our lives.
Pretty much. This was a ton. Yeah,
it was so much
right.
work. So much work.
We were flat out from January. We hit the ground running in 2025 and didn't stop until really just a couple of weeks ago.
And on top of that, you're I'm sure you're still working with other bands and groups and things.
Yes.
So it's not like it's just Gripweeds in the studio. It's
oh yeah.
You're
And
working
it's
with
summertime. We have to take some time off to go
Gotta take some
play,
time off.
go relax.
I hope you get down to Randy Now or the Record Collector or something along those
Well,
things.
we did. We had just played there. We played the Man Cave, and that was a really great show. Actually, we love doing that. But we'll be back there, I'm sure, at some point.
I'll definitely see you. So, wish you the best with it, guys. Gripweeds.com, Soul Bender out on Gem. You have a wonderful evening, my friends, and we will talk to you soon. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate
Thank
we
you.
appreciate the space and we're real happy that you love the record too.
Absolutely, my friends. This is all killer, no filler, as they say.
Yeah.
We really got to pick it up with this beautiful Coke bottle
clear vinyl.
Coke bottle clear vinyl. It's amazing. Great piece of work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a super night, Kristin and Kurt. Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Well, my friends, there you have it. That was Material Issues episode number 212 with the fabulous Gripweeds. Boy, when I talked about the fact that House of Vibes was 31 years ago. I got old and they still look great, Kristin and Kurt. I don't know how they do it, but it must be the music. The new album, Soul Bender by the Gripweeds. As they said, it's available at a bunch of record stores. Of course, it's always available at various places online. And if you can't find it through all those resources, gripweeds.com. It's rolling across the bottom of the screen. There's also like the bonus disc we talked about with all kinds of behind the scenes tracks and acoustic and instrumental versions. Absolutely wonderful album. Well worth your money to support this great band. And we appreciate you hanging out here with us on Material Issues. So coming up, I'm trying to look at Dave's notes. We got all kinds of things going on, but next Sunday, we've got an artist that put out some amazing music, late 60s, early 70s. Billy Nichols is going to be on the show. I think it's 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Pacific, and of course, 8 p.m. over in the UK. Billy Nichols time. So he'll be on July 20th. Then we're going to follow that with the 27th. Splitsville is going to be on the show. They're back with a new record called Mobtown, and that's going to be awesome. One of the legendary power pop rock bands from from I guess the 90s, some of the best work. But yeah, so we've got a couple things coming up, and then after that, IPO LA, David will be there, and we may go live from the Redwood Bar, where David will have a lot of bands going on. So that's up in the air, but we'll do something fun as always here on Material Issues. So I hope you join us next week, and again, it will be 12 noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, with Billy Nichols next Sunday here on Material Issues. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks to the Gripweeds and their brand new album. It's good to see them. Good to see them, and great to hear them rocking like they do. Pick it up. You'll love it. So have a wonderful evening, everybody. This is Mark Hershberger, Pop Detective Records, Material Issues, popdetective.com. Tim, thanks for hanging out and being with us. Good to see you. Good to see my daughter Hannah checking in with us tonight too. Miss you, bud. Everybody, have a great evening. Good night.